Effective immediately, Ethan declared, sliding the termination papers across my desk. His tone dripped with the same arrogant self-assurance he had once used when handing me divorce papers. The board's decision was unanimous. I am Sophia Lee, and until this very moment I was the CEO and lead developer of Secure Flow, one of Silicon Valley's rising stars in cybersecurity. The company, founded 6 years ago in my garage, had grown into a $200 million business. Now my ex-husband had masterminded my ousting. Saying no words, Ethan taunted me, leaning back in what was now my chair. His sharp suit was a stark contrast to my usual hoodie and jeans. No tears, no begging. I kept my face expressionless as I read the papers. The signatures were all there, even from board members I had trusted. "You've been busy," I remarked softly. "Someone had to be," he responded. "While you were buried in code, I was busy building relationships. That's what leadership is about, Sophia. Not hiding away coding all day." I couldn't help but admire his tactics. The timing was flawless. Right before our major product launch, the new security platform I had spent the last 2 years developing was finally set to go public. The company needed a different kind of leadership, he continued, someone with a wider perspective. I looked him straight in the eye. "And that someone is you," I said. "The board thinks so," he replied just as he gestured to the papers. "Sign them. Pack up and we can move forward." 6 months ago this would have crushed me. But that was before I caught on to his first attempt at accessing my development servers, before I noticed the late-night board meetings I wasn't invited to, before I started preparing. I picked up the pen, signing the paper smoothly and without hesitation. Ethan frowned slightly. He had expected resistance, maybe a breakdown. My calm acceptance seemed to disorient him more than any outburst could. "That's it?" he asked. "You're just giving up?" I rose, gathering my laptop and a few personal items from my desk. "What's the point of fighting? You've won, Ethan. The company is yours." His frown deepened. "I know you, Sophia," I replied, slinging my bag over my shoulder. "You don't give up this easily. People change. Good luck with the launch," I added as I walked out of my office, now his office. I could almost feel his gaze following me, trying to decipher what he was missing. Ethan had always been inept at reading people, manipulating situations to his benefit. That's what made him such an effective suit. But he never fully understood one key thing about me. I always played the long game. The elevator ride down to the lobby was silent. Through the glass walls I saw the San Francisco skyline, the same view I'd gazed at every day while building Secure Flow from the ground up. 6 years of work, sleepless nights and endless hours of coding, all leading to this moment. My phone buzzed. A text from CLA, my lead developer and oldest friend. "Is it done?" "Yes," I replied. "Plan B starts now." Sia was one of the few who knew about the preparations I had made over the last 6 months, ever since I first suspected Ethan's betrayal. Like me, she'd seen this coming. Walking through the lobby, I passed Rachel from HR, who quickly averted her gaze, unable to meet my eyes. She had been one of the first to sign the board resolution, even though I'd been the one to hire her when no other company would take a chance on her background. "It's nothing personal," she'd likely tell herself. "Just business." But with Ethan, everything was personal. I stepped into the bright California sunshine, slipping on my sunglasses as I headed for my car. The air was crisp, carrying a familiar scent of coffee and fog, the unmistakable feeling that San Francisco was waking up. By noon, the tech world would know that Ethan Smith had staged a hostile takeover of Secure Flow, ousting his ex-wife and seizing control of one of Silicon Valley's most promising cybersecurity firms. What they wouldn't know, and what Ethan didn't know, was that I had been preparing for this moment since the day I first discovered his first move. As I drove home, my thoughts drifted back to how it all began. Ethan and I met at Stanford's computer science program. He was charming, driven, and seemed to share my passion for coding in a way few people did. We married right after graduation. While I immersed myself in development work, he climbed the corporate ranks at various tech companies. When I founded Secure Flow in our garage, he was supportive. At least that's what I believed. Looking back now, I see it differently. He had been waiting for the right moment. 2 years ago, he joined the company as COO just as we started gaining real momentum. His business skills were supposed to complement my technical expertise. Or so I thought. The first red flag appeared last year during our divorce. It was smooth, cordial. No disputes over assets, no nasty accusations. He even allowed me to retain full control of the company without a fight. That should have been my first warning. Ethan never gave up anything without a plan to reclaim it. I pulled into my driveway and sat in my car for a moment, staring at the house I bought after the divorce. It was smaller than our old place, but it had something more valuable. A secure home office where I had been quietly building my contingency plan for the last 6 months. My phone buzzed again, another message from CLA. Team meeting in an hour. Everyone's confirming. I smiled faintly. While Ethan had been busy networking and courting the board, I had been fostering loyalty among the people who actually built our products. The developers, engineers, and security experts who understood that Secure Flow's value didn't lie in its market cap or board politics, but in its code. I entered my home office and powered up my system, connecting to our development servers one last time. My access would soon be cut off, but I only needed a few minutes. Lines of code flashed across the screen. The platform we were preparing to launch, 2 years of work, millions of lines of code, all leading to this moment. What Ethan didn't understand, what he never would, was that in software development, true power isn't ownership. It's understanding. A notification appeared on my screen. Access granted. Final protocol initiated. I typed a series of commands, my fingers moving swiftly over the keys. To anyone monitoring the system, it would look like routine pre-launch checks. But I was actually activating a series of triggers I had embedded deep within the code months earlier. Ethan thought he had inherited a revolutionary security platform. What he had actually inherited was something far more complex. My phone rang. It was James, my lawyer. Sophia, he said, I just got the termination papers. Are you sure about this? I asked. We could fight it, he suggested. No, I replied, watching the progress bar on my screen move forward. Everything's proceeding exactly as planned. They're already announcing a new CO. James continued, the press release just went out. Perfect timing. How long until the markets open? I asked. About an hour, he said. Sophia, what's your plan? His voice carried concern. I reassured him, just watch. And James, make sure you're recording CNBC around 10 a.m., you'll want to see this. After hanging up, I opened another window on my computer and started a countdown timer. Exactly 47 minutes later, when the markets opened, Ethan would discover the true meaning of business. Business is business. A knock at the door interrupted my thoughts. It was CLA, accompanied by 5 key members of our development team. Everyone's here, she said as they filed into my home office. The rest are connected remotely. I nodded, turning to face the group. These were the people who had built Secure Flow with me, who understood the stakes. Is it done? Asked Alex, our head of network security. Almost, I replied, gesturing to the countdown timer. In 40 minutes, Ethan will learn a very important lesson about the difference between owning code and understanding it. Maya, our UX/UI lead, gave me a knowing smile. This is going to be fun. Let's just make sure we get the timing right. As the seconds ticked down, a deep calm washed over me. The company might have been taken from me, but my work, the heart of Secure Flow, was never going anywhere. When the timer hit 0, I pressed the final key. Within moments, Secure Flow's stock began to plummet. It didn't stop, not until it had crashed beyond repair. Outside San Francisco, the city continued to wake up, unaware that Secure Flow was now in free fall. Ethan Smith was about to learn that betrayal in this world always carries consequences. By the time the stock market opened, Secure Flow's value had started to free fall at an alarming speed, just as I had planned. The embedded triggers were activated. Ethan's new empire was no longer the promising leader in cybersecurity it once was. Within minutes, the tech world erupted with breaking headlines. Secure Flow hit by massive security breach, 60% drop in stock in the first hour. The new CEO's brief rally ended with an unprecedented cybersecurity crisis. Ethan's face was all over the news. His smug smile from his announcement was quickly replaced by shock and confusion as analysts dug into what had caused the catastrophic collapse. Sophia, what did you do? James's voice crackled through the phone. When I answered, I kept my tone calm. It's not about what I did, I said, my eyes glued to the screen as the news outlets updated. It's about what Ethan failed to notice. There was a brief silence on the other end. You're telling me you... That's right, I confirmed. I planted a series of backdoor triggers within the platform's security systems, hidden right under his nose like a Trojan horse. James paused to absorb this. So, you essentially locked Secure Flow down? Not quite, I corrected. The company's assets are still intact. The platform is operational. It's just that the vulnerabilities I coded in were set to activate when Ethan's leadership was at its weakest. And now the world knows. Secure Flow is more than just a company, it's a ticking time bomb filled with unresolved issues. I leaned back in my chair watching the stock numbers drop lower and lower. This was it, the final phase of my retribution. Ethan had underestimated me. He thought running a company was about connections and sales, but in the end true power lay in who controlled the code. An alert appeared on my screen. Claire ready to meet. She'd been there since the beginning, and now I knew she was prepared for what came next. I'll be there in 30, I replied. When I reached the office, the tension was palpable. Long-time employees, many of whom had been with Secure Flow from the start, huddled in small groups, gossiping in disbelief about the company's rapid collapse. Where's Ethan? I asked. He's holed up in a conference room, Alex, our head of network security, muttered, typing furiously at his laptop. He's trying to figure out what happened, but it's too late. The damage is done. There's no recovery in the short term. She moved past him, saying, it's time to clean house. Inside the conference room, Ethan was pacing, looking like a shell of the confident CEO he once was. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his movements frantic. When he saw me, his face hardened. You think you've won, Sophia? He spat. You think I'll just let you take everything? All the trust one had placed in him, all the years I fought for Secure Flow, had crumbled to dust. I wasn't angry anymore. I was beyond that. I knew what needed to be done. I haven't won, Ethan, I said, my voice steady. You were always going to lose because you never understood the company. You never understood me. His eyes narrowed. You think you can just walk back in? The board won't back you. The investors, who do you think they trust? I interrupted. The man who knows nothing about how Secure Flow actually works, or the woman who built it from the ground up? The realization flickered across his face for the first time, but it was too late. Ethan had already played his hand and now he had nothing left. Sophia, I said, steel in my tone, I'm not here to argue with the board or the investors. I'm here to offer you a deal. Walk away now, leave Secure Flow, and I'll let you keep your reputation intact. Stay and I'll bury you with this company. His jaw tightened as he stepped forward, but I didn't flinch. The truth is undeniable, I continued. Secure Flow is finished in its current state. Investors will abandon it, the product will become obsolete, and the market will tear you apart. This is the moment that will define your career, and one you won't recover from. He spat. What makes you think I'll listen to you now? I'm still the CEO, the new CEO. I raised an eyebrow, already knowing the answer. Check the stock price. He quickly checked his phone. His face drained of color as he saw the same numbers I had been watching. The stock was in free fall. Secure Flow's collapse was happening faster than he could have imagined. You're really going to let me walk away with nothing? He muttered, voice cracking. After everything we've been through. Everything, I whispered. I spent 6 years building Secure Flow into what it was. You spent 2 trying to steal it from me. His shoulders sagged, the weight of his actions finally dawning on him. Leave now, Ethan, I repeated, my tone cold and resolute. Before it's too late. For a long moment he stared at me, eyes burning with anger and regret. Then, without another word, he turned and left the room. By that evening, news outlets were ablaze with the story of Ethan Smith's sudden departure and the company's catastrophic downfall. The truth was clear. Ethan's hostile takeover had backfired in spectacular fashion. The board, investors, and media quickly realized what had happened. Without me, Secure Flow was nothing. Meanwhile, I was already putting the wheels in motion to reclaim my position. My legal team was working on the paperwork to reinstate me as CEO, while Claire, Alex, and the rest of the team prepared for the next steps. We would rebuild Secure Flow, stronger, more secure, and more united than ever. Ethan's betrayal had nearly destroyed us, but it also revealed how much we could achieve when we trusted each other. This time there would be no room for betrayal. By the next morning, Secure Flow was on the road to recovery. And I was back in control.